Hi guys, it's Ray here from City Fan TV, and I'm joined by the Bee and the Bang, my brother from another mother, Bernardine. You bald beauty, Bernardine. How you doing, mate?
I'm all right, mate. I need a shave. I need to shave my head as well. It's getting all
You and me both.
now. I get a bit lazy. I want someone to buy me one of those things, you know, you can zoom it over and stuff like that. I can't do it. Don't dick razor. I get only do it once a week. That's all. Like, I can't be bothered.
I stopped using the now we're not going to grooming now, but I stopped using razors because I just kept ripping my head up to pieces. I got one of these skull shavers now, and they're not as close. It's not as close to shave, basically. But then I use the razor afterwards, and because there's only a little bit of hair, it doesn't most of the time doesn't nick it. But unfortunately, I'm on blood thinners, so when I do nick it, it just gushes for hours. It doesn't stop. But anyway,
we're not talking about a bald beauty today, are we, mate? We're talking about a guy who's got his top knot and God knows what.
Yeah, he's got more hair. He's got hair enough for the three of us, him and us two. We're going to talk about Erling Haaland. Now, poor old Erling, he was injured for the game against Luton. Obviously big surprise. Did you know beforehand? No. Okay, there's no inklings beforehand. Now, it's talking about stress fracture or something on his foot. But he's not going to be out for too long, which is fortunate because we've come to rely on him. We're playing for Erling Haaland. Everything's for him, and he's scoring a lot of goals. So he'll be out for. Pep said he's not going to be fit for the Red Star Belgrade this week in the Champions League. He's not going to be fit for Crystal Palace at the weekend, but he might be ready for the Club World Cup next week. Are you going? No. He might be ready for.
I've got my private jet booked. Yeah,
he might be ready for Club World Cup next week. If he's not, I'm not fussed because I want him to be ready for next game. Is it Sheffield United? I can't remember now. Or Everton? I can't remember who it is.
Everton, yeah.
Everton, but they're in great form. 4 wins in a draw. And they only lost to, was it Man United? Anyway, I don't know how that happens. So I want him to be ready for 2 weeks' time, to be honest. The next game is it on 27th?
Yeah.
After Palace, it's 27th. So we're talking 16 days, 2 weeks' time. That's when I want Erling Haaland to be firing. I'm not bothered about Club World Cup, Tin Pot Trophy. Let's be honest. If we win it, champions of the world. But otherwise, who cares? Tin Pot Trophy. But so he's a very important guy to our team. But a few people came out, and and I don't think they were tongue in cheek here. I think in all seriousness, they came out and said, City fans, I won't mention their names, but on the channel, they said City better off without Haaland. Now, look, we won the treble last season with Haaland, but having said that, we won the treble last season with Jack Grealish, and you're not having him on your side right now. But do you miss the days of that false nine that we had that was winning? Do you think City are better with Haaland or without Haaland?
Well, let's just look at the Luton. I mean, look at the Luton game. I mean, we presumably, I'm not sure what we had a false nine because we certainly did have a number 9. Alves wasn't playing striker, was he? Let's be honest about it. He wasn't playing as a number 9. So Pep had to sort of revert back to similar what we've got, but unfortunately we don't have the midfield players we had 2 or 3 years ago to do that rotating, wonderful style of football that we used to do. So Pep has to cut his cloth accordingly. And we don't have it in the same way. We can't replace Rodri. We can't replace Haaland. We don't have any young lads, up and coming lads who can play that role. And obviously, Pep doesn't want to play Alves in that role because he would be playing it, and he certainly didn't play it yesterday. He's got no confidence in him as a target man. He's not all right. He's not a big lad, but he could still. You don't have to be big to be number 9. We've had some pretty small number 9s, haven't we, over the years? So thinking back to the guys who played that role. So yeah, it's just how Pep plays, and now without Haaland, of course. He has to revert back to something else. He doesn't have the personnel to do what we used to do. So it is a problem. But can we win without Haaland? Yes, we can, because we beat Luton without Haaland. It's not how we want to play at the moment. Would we have won with Haaland yesterday? Yeah, I think so. Would be, but I don't think it would have made a big difference. He wouldn't have won 4 or 5-1. I don't think it would have made a big lot of difference. He just would have helped Pep with his what he drums into the players, how we play. It's as simple as that.
I think obviously, you said a few years ago when we played that false nine, we had Foden knocking about, Bernardo Silva, Mahrez, Sterling. David Silva was around a bit because Aguero was injured. Gundogan, Rodri and Fernandinho, and KDB. Those are just the ones I can remember off the top of my head. There's 8, 9, 10 players there who you can mix and match. And now we are struggling to get 3 decent midfielders. That we saw against Villa. We had Stones in midfield. We had Akanji in midfield. Lewis in mid. It's bonkers, man. Bonkers. So I'm not sure, that we should go back to that because we've cut our cloth now. We've set our stall out. We are going to be playing to this big front man. But is it a risk? How much of a risk is it? Moving on from just Haaland, how much of a risk is it to rely on just 2 or 3 players? We mentioned this before. We got Rodri. Rodri hasn't played 4 games this season. Which games have we lost this season? The 4 games Rodri didn't play. Haaland is out. We rely on him for all his goals. KDB's out. We're missing his creativity. I think most of the other players, if they weren't there, we would find a solution. If Edison's not around, Ortega Moreno. If Aki and Diaz aren't around, we've got Akanji and Stones. We can mix and match and get it out. But there are 2 or maybe 3 players that if we don't have them, we're not the same side. And are you worried that we're taking too big a risk by doing that?
Well, I think we are taking a risk because we need, obviously we thought people like Kovacic had bedded in quite well very quickly, but at this point in time, I'm not overly convinced. I think they've still got work to do, and Pep knows that. I mean, Nunez came on yesterday for his, but he's sort of getting bits of games now. He's not getting the opportunities. He'll get an opportunity Wednesday night this week as we're recording this, the Champions League, and that'll be good. Let's get Nunez on the pitch, get him 90 odd minutes, a full game, and let's see what he can do. Pep will know what he can do because he's got him there in training. He knows, the play systems, and that's what Pep does. He'll teach and cajole and all that sort of thing. But that is the problem. We just that lack of match practice with City at the moment. I think it shows in certain things. We're relying on people like Foden and Bernardo to step up. And they don't always, they're not going to do it for 90 minutes, are they? So, who's going to fill the gaps? Who's going to fill that gap if Bernardo's not quite firing? But basically, you're just playing with 10 men because Bernardo's a big thing, Foden's a big thing. But so all clubs must have him. I mean, obviously you think Harry Kane at Tottenham, all right, they haven't got him now, but they seem to be coped quite well. But they've got injury problems and they've got far more than we've had. And yet we, as you said, because of our small squad, we've got 2 injuries, and all of a sudden we're looking a bit sparse on the bench. And we are relying on making sure Rodri's fit. Bernardo and Foden are always fit, and that's how it's going to be. And it is a worry, but I don't know what you can do about it. You can't. You just have to live in hope, don't you? And Haaland's fine. I mean, I remember with that, who was there when the big lad went out? Delap, wasn't it? I always thought Delap would be groomed and made into a Haaland Junior, a Haaland 2, but obviously that never happened. So it is odd. It is odd. I mean, obviously it's a Harry Kane situation, isn't it? Tottenham with Harry Kane. A different kettle of fish to Tottenham without Harry Kane, and City probably a little bit like that at the moment, but a better version, of course.
The difference is without Harry Kane, Spurs are actually doing all right. They look a decent side. As I said when Harry Kane goes, you'll see a different Spurs because it won't be focused on one man. It'll be more of a team thing. They got a good new manager in. Look at the difference. But for Bernard says we've got to keep Haaland. keep him fit for a long time because he is a handful. He does occupy defenders. He does score a lot of goals. And even though we do kind of rely on him a little bit for our goals, and when he doesn't score, we're we do bemoan the fact, like against Villa, I still think if he'd put one of those 2 chances that he had away against Villa, we might have, won that game. Snuck a one and just hung on for it. No, he's a top man. So you guys out there, you guys who are saying City better off without Haaland, sorry, you can do one. Bernard and me say do one. All right. Guys, if you're new to the channel, please subscribe. Hit the bell icon so you're notified as soon as new videos come out. We'll see you around Blues.